It is currently 5:55 p.m. and this video is capturing dynamic light. These are leaves on trees that are moving around through magnified light. This is occurring inside of my apartment hallway. This is through closed blinds. So you're witnessing the demonic. This is the criminal system that's underway. The state's criminal pattern of conduct is a demonic, ritualistic targeting system, and that's the state of California that will be prosecuted as both a sex offender while it engages in what is molesting your body with this engineered light on a 24-hour basis, and also invading the private space with what is, again, impossible light activity. The blinds are closed and you're looking at the leaves of trees moving through that magnified light through closed blinds. I'm using this timestamp, and then you're also, I want you to see all the places. So look, as I walk around in the room, the light, and this is capturing impossible light activity, but this is why you engage in this isn't sunlight. And you already know that. And this is what the entity is doing in the morning until the evening. You've looked at ongoing iterations of engineered light all day long inside of my apartment. This is the constructive presence of the state. This is the prosecution of the people of the state who are maintaining criminal presence in the path. You saw Marina Davila and Carmen Carreto. Group stalking. Those are two crossing path. You're looking at the ongoing patrolling conduct. You've got two demons. That's their condition. They're walking in engineered light. This engineered light that you see in my apartment, where you're looking at leaves. Okay, no leaf could fit through any of these closed blinds, let alone through what is appearing through magnification. All right, this is magnified light, and you're looking at the malicious and intentional conduct of what is crossing path. This is the ongoing criminal maintenance in that engineered light. The engineered light is key to what is group stalking. This is the same property where the state is engaged in an ongoing pattern of obsessive stalking 24 hours a day as well. And that demonic conduct, stalking in the path, and presence in engineered light while that criminal system is underway. I want to be clear, this demon is not coincidentally present. This demon knows exactly what I'm doing and where I'm at, and you also know that by the presence of that engineered light. That's again Carmen Carreto, and this is Marina Davila, who are pacing around in engineered light. These aged third-party group stalkers are going to federal prison, and they're also going to be subject to what are mental examinations. But this is speaking to what is going on at Alvarado Gardens. As you can see, there is no vantage point, first of all, where the light source is capable of engaging and aiming that light activity. This is the placement. Like I said, this has nothing to do with the placement of the actual light source. This is the demonic. Okay, but I want you to see something. The entity is engaging in what is targeting light inside of my apartment. So again, when you're breaking apart that illusion, you see the light source. It has nothing to do with the presence of the engineered light in my apartment. You're witnessing the act of Satan. And I want to be clear. It's the same engineered light that's covering all of the grounds. Now, this engineered light is covering all of the property, including this adjacent property where demons are engaging in group stalking, and they're all going to be prosecuted as well. That's called criminal presence. They're crossing path. Engineered light is all over that vehicle, and they're driving an engineered light, monitoring someone in the private space. That is the prosecution as a sex offender that's acting and facilitating the state's criminal pattern of conduct. They are under the same engineered light that is present from the morning time until the evening, where, by the way, the entity is keeping a light source, which is, again, covered up by the peak of this building right here. But we're going to go over to my bedroom where the entity is. This is just supplemental light activity into the depths of the hallway. There is no warrant, no probable cause for what is the criminal maintenance of this engineered light inside of the private space, which is the ongoing admission against the people of the state. The entity is engaged in criminal surveillance, engaging in what is a targeting system while they're monitoring. And let me be clear, demons monitor. The government is practicing a demonic targeting system, and they're also monitoring in violation of Title 18 via and on communication devices, and in violation, on the video of the internet. Carmen Carreto's going to federal prison, and she's going to be deported if her and her husband are not natural born citizens, and that goes for everybody. This entire property, all 59 apartments, as you can see, the apartment buildings, that's engineer light. Okay, while the light source is hovering over me in Fontana, California, at the Fontana Lewis Library, which is why you're looking at this illuminated light on the buildings. They're not lamps down there. That's engineered light that's appearing in the shade. The demonic are surrounded by what is engineered light, which is the ongoing maintenance of light activity while they're pacing all around in the engineered environment, while they're in their apartments, in other words. They don't have to come outside. The demonic objective is to touch surfaces with this engineered light, this abnormal light, where you can see through closed blinds, trees blowing in the winds. These trees up here. entirely impossible. That is the ongoing admission to terrorism. It's demonic. And that same light activity, of course, and this is what I'm talking to the federal government right here, who's learning and understanding, first of all, what you're looking at and the significance of everything that's happening in this environment, everything you see and hear. That is the state engaging in criminal summoning, sounding sirens, while the people of the state are systematically maintaining criminal presence on behalf of that state in the engineered light, where the maintenance of a light source is still here at 5:55 when I started this video. And you're going to juxtapose that with what is the maintenance of a light source at 5:56 p.m. and you are looking at the Fontana Police Department in that video, stalking in a helicopter, engaging in an ongoing act of terrorism in that specific environment. And as you've already seen, I want to be clear, the entity aiming engineered light, magnified light that is appearing on that wall like you saw yesterday, impossible light activity, and the entity is suggesting that sunlight is coming through closed blinds, magnified all over the wall, stretching across the wall, hitting a mirror, and then bouncing, ricocheting onto that wall. That's the ongoing admission. There is no warrant, no probable cause. The audible activity right now is the criminal summoning. Everybody, all 59 units are systematically engaged in this criminal summoning, and that's why they're all going to federal prison. This engineered light, that audible activity, and the criminal presence, everybody that lives here is monitoring. This is the light source. And I want you to listen to this, because this terrorism is exactly what the Fontana Police Department and the people of the state were engaged in while I was at the Fontana Lewis Library under the light source, which, by the way, is not the natural environment. The sun that's over this light source is not the sun that's over the Fontana Lewis Library. That's criminal summoning. Criminal summoning. The entity is engaging in coming onto the grounds to engage in crossing a path, driving an engineered light, just like Amazon Prime. There's no difference in the fact that there's a logo or no logo. It is the same criminal pattern of conduct. There's no sun that's going to be over my head at the Fontana Lewis Library, where, by the way, it's documented over my head at that same venue at 9 o'clock in the morning. While it's also maintaining presence, it's rising here 7 o'clock in the morning. That in and of itself, the entity has no warrant. You're understanding the entity has no probable cause. This is how you're understanding what the state is engaging in corporate invasion of privacy, ongoing criminal surveillance where they are stalking in the past and vicariously pacing on and on, up and down Alvarado. The people of the state coming onto the property, everybody that lives at the property is going to federal prison. Everybody. All 59 units are filled with third-party group stalkers who are violent sex offenders and are surrounded with a body of evidence, which a federal court is going to analyze when they're seeing the pattern of conduct underway by the Fontana Police Department and the pattern of conduct underway by the Los Angeles Police Department, while they are engaged in what is that same behavioral pattern, that same act of terrorism in a specific environment, because the sun is not hovering over me at the same time in Fontana, California, and inside of the same apartment, by the way, where the sun was rising in alignment to this light, apartment this morning. And let's count the hours. It's 5:55 p.m. So that was 7 o'clock, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 10 hours where Vanessa Drees is crossing path, and that's why she's going to federal prison. The ease with which the people of the state also, while they are clutching children, engaging in criminal surveillance of an American citizen, that is why they go to federal prison. Crossing path. The ease with which the people of the state engage in criminal surveillance. This is a demon-possessed population, and this is speaking to the character of that light, impossible to coexist while the light source is supposedly over me in Fontana, California. This is the same venue where the entity is group stalking by the Los Angeles Police Department, just like you saw earlier today, and just like I continue to itemize and catalog on an ongoing basis, both day and night. And it is evidence against all of them. The federal court's going to look at the body of evidence, and everybody, as a matter of justice, that lives here at the crime scene, placing an American citizen under surveillance with the federal government is intolerant. It's intolerable. And the federal government, nor any American citizen, should stand for that. And I want to be clear, that's why Amazon Prime's employees who are acting with the state, they go to federal prison. That's why Amazon Prime is going to be subject to what are substantial civil damages, where you drain the pockets. It is necessarily punitive, serving as a deterrent. And time in federal prison is a necessary deterrent. It is a matter of justice, where the entity is subject to what is an unprecedented level. Understand, that's a demon crossing path on Alvarado Street, which is what they're doing. The engineered light that's all over the property. First of all, even if this was the sun, it has nothing to do with the placement of that light. This building, these are demons that are pacing around, monitoring an engineered light, stalking in the path. All of Alvarado Gardens is a crime scene, where, by the way, you also know it because the sun is present from rising until set. That's not the sun, that's the light source. That's the pattern of conduct. And they are present inside of my personal space with engineered light, where you're looking at through closed blinds, light that is dynamic, light that is showing super magnification. You are looking at the presence, by the way. First of all, you're going to learn this is the presence of Satan. It has nothing to do with the presence of that light source. Second of all, you're going to understand when you're criminally prosecuting, This is present with the absence of any warrant or probable cause. The government is engaging in ongoing criminal surveillance and stalking where this engineered light is incessantly present. And that is the coexisting criminal presence that is stalking, following, maintaining presence from place to place by the state, both directly and vicariously, and it's present inside of the private space. The entity is engaging what is an ongoing admission against the people of the state while that environment is maintained inside of the private space, inside, as you've seen, the workplace, because let's not forget, you've also seen a pattern of conduct of the P.O.C. at the workplace where I was in Harupa Valley. Where was over my head in Harupa Valley? The light source. It's supposedly the sun, right? No, the sun would never be present. All I've been doing is giving you ongoing documentation, reminding you about 1 or 2 venues all over, which is the prosecution period. You have every type of confirmation and corroborating evidence. What is beyond a coincidence? The Riverside Police Department stalking in a helicopter in the specific environment in Harupa Valley, where, by the way, the sun would never be present in Los Angeles. The sun would never be in any position to create any light activity under both circumstances in Harupa Valley and in Los Angeles. This is never going to be sunlight. Sunlight is never going to appear through closed blinds, showing you the leaves of trees blowing and creating dynamic light, appearing even behind my bed on the floor. These are extraordinarily demonic, which is prosecuted as terrorism, showing what is the unlawful presence of the state, serving criminal monitoring and surveillance in all 59 units. All right, I want you to see it because this is exactly what I mean, and this is exactly what's going to happen. The federal government is going to this is criminal summoning, by the way. Alvarado Gardens engaged in criminal summoning while the entity was sounding sirens as I was capturing this video. And that is the state, again, engaging in that systematic means of criminal surveillance while the entity stalks and engages in surveillance. This ongoing acts, just the video, by the way, the video documentation that I captured today, April 6th, look at the video documentation that I captured at 5:56 at the Fontana Lewis Library, which I will upload to the Compare the P.O.C. folder. That is an act of outright terrorism by the state. And that's exactly what you see LAPD engaging in, pacing all around in helicopter over and over and over again all day long, also while I am documenting the people of the state. All right, it's the same exact pattern of conduct in the same exact specific environment, not the natural environment. Not the natural environment. That is impossible to be the natural environment. In the presence of that specific environment, the presence of that engineered light is speaking to what is criminal conduct by the state. And there is no warrant and there is no probable cause. That is the surefire prosecution of the state who was stalking in that environment and having no legal grounds to do so. And also the people of the state who are also vicariously present engaged in a criminal matter. This is criminal surveillance. And this is how that environment is instrumental to what is the state system of ongoing federal group stalking and monitoring. Federal group stalking and monitoring is nothing other than ongoing surveillance by a bunch of demons who are targeting you. But guess what? These demons are in legally relevant positions. It's the government. It's not some satanic worshiping church on the corner. Okay? It's the government that's stalking in this environment. In the presence of that light, that is speaking to an unlawful and unreasonable search. See, it's analogous to what the entity is doing, violating the constitutional rights, the right to be free from an unlawful search and seizure. And this is what these demons in the positions of government are doing. There's no warrant or probable cause to have this light activity. There is no warrant or probable cause to maintain that specific environment around you where the people of the state and the state itself are both directly and vicariously engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. That is keeping you under surveillance. It is mandatory federal prison. Everybody at Alvarado Gardens is surrounded with that body of evidence. And it's not just what I captured in LA. They are surrounded with a body of evidence that extends back to 2018. There is nothing that the entity can do that under any circumstances, and I mean that, to refute what is the ongoing evidence speaking to the irrefutable pattern of conduct in a specific environment. And that specific environment is occurring where there is no warrant or probable cause by the state to engage in that. Okay, so you're talking about what is prosecution of the state and prosecution of the people of the state, who, by the way, are in the position of the government. So every apartment unit where the state is living, all 59 units, the state is present vicariously, and the state's going to federal prison. That's legally what's happening, because that's what they're doing. I want to be clear, it is currently 6:09 p.m. and I'm going to upload that documentation to the Compare the P.O.C. folder. And what you heard was an ongoing scene of terrorism. The entity begins sounding sirens. If you could hear it, if you were able to hear it over my voice, the entity started sounding sirens. And while you're looking at all of this light activity, and by the way, while the entity is vacillating engineered light for the duration of the day, you saw it this morning. You saw it all morning in my bedroom while the light source remained out here. This is ongoing terrorism while an entity is maintaining presence in your apartment for the duration of the day, all day and all night. Engineer light is present 24/7. The government has no legal basis to engage in that direct evidence of criminal surveillance. They're stalking. And they're stalking you while you're in your apartment in that environment. They have made your private space the specific environment, and they've done so without any warrant or probable cause. There is no constitutional grounds upon which the government may place you under surveillance. Period. That's what federal group stalking and monitoring is, and it's entirely demonic. So it's not only criminal surveillance, it's terrorism while a government places you under surveillance and places you under surveillance utilizing demonic, ritualistic methods in doing so with an ongoing criminal agenda to obstruct justice. That's exactly what you've seen the state doing over and over again while they're repeatedly stalking a helicopter and acting in concert with the people of the state. And this is exactly what Amazon Prime, who came and demonstrated again for you, is directly engaged in knowingly, okay? The specific environment is a phenomenon that everyone is aware of, everyone but the targeted individual, okay? This is a demon-possessed population and a corrupt government that is practicing that which is satanic, okay? But this satanic behavior is criminal, highly criminal. It's 6:11 p.m., and this is P.O.C.